Good afternoon. My name is Anthony Johnson. Welcome to the show, The Other Side. Today, on my show, I have with me a unique gentleman. He is an insurance executive, but he was. He is a motivational speaker. He is a consultant, a unique man, a friend, Mr. Edley Sargent. Mr. Sargent, welcome, sir, to my show, The Other Side.
Thank you, Brother Johnson. It's a pleasure to be here today. I must commend you for this beautiful show and what you're doing in this community. I'm so happy to be here. I'm willing to share whatever you want me to share on this show today, and let's get it on.
Thank you, Mr. Sargent. Sarge, you and I have been friends for a long time, and I feel so happy having you here with me today. Let me ask you a question. We're going to talk today, folks. Yes, let me say this. We're going to talk today about the young men in our country. The young man, and some of the things that can be done to assist some of these young people. We want to find ways that we can help build these young men, that we can help lead them to their purposes for their lives. Sergeant, let me ask you a question. What are some of the biggest issues that is affecting our young men today?
Well, Anthony, I hope that what I say today will motivate the young men and the ladies, and in fact, all the humans. When you look at young men, not only young men, men in general, the biggest problem with men is identity. First of all, they must identify who they are as a man. When God created the earth, He created man as the leader, as the boss, as the supervisor for the soil.
Wow.
Through the course of time, men lost their ability. They lost that communication with God. They lost what God has given them, the authority to lead. So it just dwindled down through the years. And now today, our biggest problem with men, believe it or not, they have to compete with ladies. And now they're feeling that the competition is devaluing their masculinity. So they are ready to give up to the ladies.
Wow. On that point, I want to ask you a question, Sarge. So many of our young women, yes, are well educated. They're doing well. And, when they reach a certain point in their lives, they will be looking for a partner. But a lot of the young men in our country, a lot of them are in prison or they're on the blocks. You have quite a bit of a young men doing well. So let me give the credit there. But so many of them are fallen by the wayside. What can we do to help uplift those young people, those young men, to bring them up?
The young people are always looking for something to identify with. Okay? As leaders, as elders of the state, we must recognize where we has gone wrong. Okay? They're the product of us.
Okay, yes.
Okay? The Bible says you will reap whatever you sow.
My goodness.
Okay? So what you saying to the young man today, just an extension of our past. And my day growing up, they always had gangs, but we had what we called blood brothers. We didn't have the guns. We never bought knives, but we used to do rock and bottle. Okay? And I remember growing up, there were young men on the blocks that would take your lunch money. But we just allow it to fester. So what happened now is the system. The system is broken. Okay? I'm going to show you an example. If you look at the newspapers or any paper, and you see the word scholarship, okay? And you look at the word scholarship that's being offered to these kids. It's the ones that is 3.0, 4.0, okay? We put more emphasis on the persons that are really good in society. They don't need no help. The problem is that we don't put any emphasis on the persons or the potential of damaging our society. We push them aside. More resources need to go in that person have the potential of damaging society. But we make the guy with the 3.0 head boy. The guy who have problems from the family home, you don't have the resources home, you don't have the help home, we push him aside and call him a failure.
Sarge, wow. As I drive around, Sarge, the streets of Nassau, as I walked when I'm exercising, I observe some things, and it frustrates me to a point because I sit down and I wonder, why? You see all the liquor stores all over the place, the liquor stores. You see everyone, in fact, all across the inner city area in particular. And you see a bunch of young men standing outside buying liquor or hanging around the block drinking liquor or whatever it's what. And I wonder, how could this be? We know that these things are bringing problem to these communities, but nothing is being done. Could you elaborate on that a bit for me, please?
Yes, of course. Again, I'll take you back when I was growing up. Okay? When I was growing up, we never concentrated on material things. We were interested in simple things of life, simple fact. We didn't have all these electrical games. Okay? We used to shoot marbles, spin top, play hopscotch, jacks. Today, the kids don't have that. Okay? So now what you have the outside influence. Okay? The outside influence play a major role.
Yes, talk about that.
In our country. Okay? We are not considering, when you look at our young people, we are not considering the part the outside world is playing. We want to be like North America. We want to be Jamaican. Check our music. Okay? Check our athletes. We don't glorify our athletes. The other day I was thinking how we celebrate the Super Bowl. Okay? We are not Americans, but everybody will have Super Bowl party. But when our athletes come, we don't even recognize them. We have National Basketball Association players, stars. We have the world champion in track and field. When they come home, basically nothing.
Wow, with you saying that, you have Pauline Davis, you have Chandra Sturt. In fact, the Golden Girls. You have
Shawnee Miller.
Shawnee Miller.
Shawnee Miller.
We have the darling girl. What's her name?
We have Stephen Gardner.
And all of those
guys.
Olympians who have done so much for this country.
World champions.
These are world-class athletes. Do we go around and do stories, the media, or do we recognize these people? It bemuses me sometimes, Sarge, when I think about it. These people who have made such great contribution to this country, we don't put much into them. Could you talk about that, please?
Yeah, I think it's simple. We don't appreciate who we are. Okay, I cannot appreciate you who you are if I don't recognize who I am.
Wow.
Okay, we are suffering from selfishness.
Selfish.
Okay, the persons who get the praises in our country are the politicians and the preachers. Okay?
My goodness.
I call them the PNP syndrome.
Wow, preachers and politicians.
Yes. Okay, all emphasis on that. Okay, the preacher. If you go around and look at the buildings, they're named after
Pastors or politicians.
Okay, made no contribution, Okay, you have a park that's named after a politician.
Wow.
But yet we don't have a park named after Michael Thompson.
Or Dr. Miles Monroe.
Okay, but Miles Monroe is a preacher.
But he made some
I'm
useful
not denying that.
contribution,
I'm
yes.
saying now, I already give them the credit, the preachers and the pastors. But the other persons who made contribution, we don't recognize them. Musicians. We don't recognize them. When the foreigners come across here to put on a concert, you check, it's packed.
Yes, you said something about musicians just now. I'm a musician. Let me see if I can push you to really say something. We don't hardly recognize our musicians in this country. We don't do much to assist them. Why?
Not at all. It bothers me also because, for instance, if you listen to some of the radio shows, they have foreign music playing day and night. I always ask myself the question: if I had the authority, how can I do it differently? And the first thing came to my mind was this. Is any Bahamian music playing in Jamaica?
No.
Is any playing in America?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay? We always feel like foreigners better than us.
Would you saying that, Sergeant? I'm not trying to, I'm going to let you elaborate further on that, but would you saying that there's a particular radio station in Nassau, a Bahamian radio station, never play Bahamian music. Everything is American. Never play one Bahamian music. But they're looking for the Bahamian businesses to sponsor their program. And I'm trying to figure out, how do you think? Not one Bahamian music in the Bahamas. Come on.
And the reason why that is happening, because they have Bahamian listening audience. Okay? As I mentioned earlier, the foreign influence upon us. Okay? If you look at our economy, first thing you say, foreign investors. Okay? What's the fast food? Okay? You have American franchises all over the place. How many Bahamian can compete with them?
Wow.
Okay? You check the advertisement on the television. American advertise, even the soft drinks is not Bahamian.
Wow.
The milk we drink from the stores is not Bahamian.
Wow. Wow. Sarge, you made quite some points there. But I want to let's get back to the young men in this country. Let's get back to on that topic. Let's get back there. Okay. Today, okay, we are celebrating our 50th anniversary in the Bahamas. 50th independent anniversary. Our golden anniversary is celebrating 50 years of independence.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. Before I know that in the Bahamas, for the past 50 years, from a material standpoint, we have, gained some ground materially. But spiritually, you can look at some of the decays in our society, some major things that have happened that really is pulling us to pieces. What would you say to the authorities, or what would you say must be done to assist, young people, young men and young women to lead this country for the next 50 years? Could you elaborate on that, please?
The next 50 years. First, we have a pretty good educational foundation, okay? But we need to have a transformation of attitude. Okay, the approach we take. Okay, for example, if as a politician, I was to walk through the inner city, I'm going to take your mind there, being a Bahamian. I think about the Grove, Coconut Grove, being down Anglistown. If you were to walk through any of those corners, one thing is lacking. Very important, role model. Okay, you find the old person, the older gentlemen, maybe under a dilly tree, knocking domino all day, drinking beers. So the child who walks through there, what do he see? A very poor example. He don't see progress.
Wow.
He sees his career is now centered on knocking domino under the tree all day long.
Wow. Wow. And you're right. You are right. Sarge, there are times I don't feel like driving, so I would get on the bus. I love, because I learned a lot from the bus. Honestly, I learned a lot. And I observe people closely. But my goodness, you mentioned something a little while ago, attitudes. We need a national, in this country, in my opinion, a national training on attitude, on our attitudes, how we should really comport ourselves when it comes to our bad attitudes. Could you elaborate on that particular end for me, please?
Yeah, our attitude dictates where we go. Okay? There's something that the Bible says, you must be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
You said that, young lady, as I stepped inside this morning,
so,
we were talking about the same thing.
Unless you go back to the original manufacturer of man and follow his words.
Wow.
Not only believe it, because we have plenty of poisons.
Sergeant, you take me to the Bible now. You take me to the Bible, Sergeant. Come on.
I'm taking to reality.
Reality.
Yes, the reality. Okay?
Sergeant, you're going deep on me.
The reality just happened to be in the Bible. Okay? You must transform your mind. Okay? You must look at a situation that's appeared to be negative
Wow.
and then take the positive out of it.
Wow.
Okay?
Well, okay. With you saying that, Sarge, it's easy for you to say, but could you break that down just a little bit for those folks out there who may not understand what you, because break it down for me, please.
I'm going to give you an example. Some years ago, when I was a young man, okay, I went to a public school. I happened to further my education, got my university degree.
Mm-hmm.
I work in a financial establishment, held a good position.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing, I never lost the common touch.
Okay.
I grew up in Coconut Grove. On my lunch hour, I'll have my suit and sit on a wall with my friends.
Wow.
And I'll let them know there's no difference between myself and them. Okay? I try to motivate them and to get them to see
Wow.
that we share lunch together, we shoot marble together. I'm successful, but you are still on the wall.
Wow.
And unless our leaders take the time, and when I say leaders, I'm talking about all leaders and don't necessarily be the pastor or the politician.
All leaders.
All leaders, that include myself,
Mm-hmm.
take the time and go in this community and nurture those guys.
I was
back.
about to ask you certain things, Sarge. I was coming to the end of our show. I was about to ask you a question, and I think you started to answer it. You was a person who understand so many things as to how you can help embellish the minds of our young people or people in certain communities, in different areas of Nassau or the Bahamas, who have, I believe, the quality or the qualifications to really make an impact on our people. I just expand. Our last is for the next few minutes or so. Tell the public what are some of the things that you, as a person who really have that high level of interest, what would you do to help curtail some of the things in those communities?
As a person who grew up in a community, I understand some things, although the generation is different today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? One thing never change is need.
Needs, okay.
So you must identify the need of that child, the need of that young man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He have
Or
desires.
that young woman.
And wishes,
Mm-hmm.
right? And to touch the young man, we need to put emphasis on our young lady.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Okay? All the women from the beginning
mm-hmm.
of time had influence over man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mhm.
If you want to get the man, send a lady. Okay? Send a lady. So we have to teach our ladies back to basics, to be that lady, rather than being the boss or competing with men.
Okay.
Okay? I've noticed in our society today, and not hitting women, because women is not, to me, and this is very controversial, women is never equal to men. Okay? I'm doing a project called Back to Eden. Okay? In the original time, Eve was deceived by the serpent to say that she'll be even with God. She'll be able to see. Today, women are being deceived to say that they're even with men. Okay? God put us in the world to cultivate this world. I'm going to give you an example. A pastry chef, executive pastry chef, has a cake batter. In order for that cake to take shape and to be right, presented on the table, he needed an oven. Which is the most important? The oven or the batter? So when you start looking at equality, you have to understand the role we play. We cannot do it without one another, not compete with one another. Okay? And I've noticed today, women are bruising up their face so they could do anything man could do. They want to be boxers, they want to be wrestlers, they want to do everything rather than take care of their beautiful body so that we men could appreciate them and then they demand excellence of us. And I'll challenge the men, this is a system, who believe women is equal to us. If you think that way, let me show you something. I believe differently. I believe God gave a woman a role to play, and when we take her out the role, instead of getting equal pay for her, with her, she should get more than us because we taking her out of the role. We giving her men responsibility. Okay, we making her breadwinners of the family when men supposed to be doing that. So we got to pay them more, not equal.
More.
Okay,
Because they're doing more work.
no, because they sacrifice. We taking them out of their environment that God placed them. We exposing them to danger. We supposed to make men. So supposed to meet the danger for their family.
Sarge, wow, some things to think about. Sarge, I got to bring you back on to talk to you again with some other things. But boy, to finish this conversation,
Yes.
it has been exceptionally good. Sarge, thank you so much for coming on the show, The Other Side. I appreciate having you here today. Your conversation was so strong and so unique. But what we will do, hopefully in a couple of weeks or so, I will bring you back on so we can further elaborate on some other things, because I know there's so many things you want to talk about. Thank you, folks, for watching The Other Side. Until the next show, until next time, Anthony Johnson, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. God bless you all.